women because on account of the fact that Allah favored some over others. Now I'm trying to translate carefully. Allah favored some over others. Allah did not say بِمَا فَضَّلَهُمُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِنَّ, because Allah favored men over women. That's not what Allah said. Allah said Allah favored some over others. You know what that means? That means in the first part of this ayah, if I've tried to explain this to you properly, you have not been given an advantage, you've been given a responsibility. The advantage has actually gone to women. You're the one taking care of them. You're the one providing support to them over and over and over again. You're the one protecting them over and over and over again. When you're the guard and they're the one being guarded, who's the beneficiary? They are. They've been given an advantage. And so in the one sense, some people read this ayah and they assume immediately this ayah means men have an advantage over women. You look at it carefully, who's been given the advantage? You look at it carefully, Allah says some have been given advantage over others. In other words, men have this responsibility and they will have other advantages. And women have been given a responsibility and they will have other advantages. Allah is balancing the equation. This is what Allah does. Whenever He mentions a disadvantage, He counters it. You know? And so now on the other side, وَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ, and they have been made maintainers, caretakers, providers, all of this over women. Why? On account of what? Because they are to spend from their own monies. فَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. Allah has given you no choice in the matter. You cannot go with your wife to a restaurant and say, you pay. Your family's rich. You can't do that. No, shop for yourself. There are so many people, so many couples that are having money trouble. And the husband says, you earn your job money. And if you can't get a job, then too bad. I'm not getting groceries for you. You have to take care of yourself, I'll take care of myself. Allah says men don't have a choice. They will provide for their women. And they will not touch the women's money is not even talked about. What is hers, and what's yours is hers. That's literally what Allah did. That's what comes with being a man, tough. And now the other thing. You're supposed to repeatedly take care. She's getting angry and you're still a source of support. She's getting upset with you and you're still sticking with her. You don't slam the door and walk out and say, I had enough of this. I'm out. You can't. Mulaziman, you're committed. You're committed. That's what you are. Now this seems kind of unfair. I mean, she gets to do whatever she wants and I have to put up with all of this? You know? And I got to spend my money too? Congratulations on being a man. You know, this is the first half of the ayah. But then we move to the second half of the ayah, and sisters, I am not sorry. Just like I'm not sorry to the brothers. Therefore, the next word is sababiyya, therefore. In other words, men will be this way. Men are this way. Therefore, here's how women are going to be. Women also have a responsibility in this ayah. And as I say that, a lot of men start smiling. Because, finally their turn. At least I'll get the second half of the recording of this khutbah and share it with them. You know, so they don't use the first half. Everybody wants to hear what will advantage them, and they don't want to hear what will put them on trial. But you know what? In front of Allah, we are all slaves of Allah. We're all slaves of Allah. Inna Allah kana aliyan kabira. Allah is the supreme, the high. Don't try to take the word of Allah and put yourself in a higher position. Don't try to somebody else take the word of Allah and put themselves in a higher position. This is why in those ayat of rights and responsibilities, Allah will say, Inna Allah kana aliyan kabira. Allah is the ultimately high. Why are you trying to take a high advantage? Using the word of Allah. That's not what the word of Allah came for. So now even though I am a man, I have no right, some sister will say, I have no right to speak about women. You're right, I don't. But I do have to share what I've come to understand from Allah's word. And you have to do your own study. So I'm going to share what I've come to understand, inshallah ta'ala, to the best of my ability. May Allah help me. فَالصَّالِحَاتِ. He begins, therefore, good women. Now notice the part about men began with rijal. It didn't say, الصَّالِحُونَ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Good men are caretakers of women. He said all men are. All men are. But when it came to women, he did not begin with the word women. He didn't begin with an-nisa. فَالنِّسَاءُ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتٌ. No. فَالصَّالِحَاتِ. Allah is saying that what is going to be described about women isn't actually naturally the case for all women. They're going to have to make an extra effort to be this way as a result of what a man is trying to do. He's trying to provide, he's trying to be a source of support, and he's doing so over and over and over again, and they're going to have to be the first thing, salihat, a poor translation, they're going to have to be good. But we're going to have to understand what salihat means. Salih or salaha in Arabic actually is the opposite of fasada. When something is bad, something is disgusting or ugly or corrupt, and when you fix it, salaha. Salaha is both lazim and muta'addi, of something to become good or for you to fix something. For you to fix something. Now what women are being told in this ayah is that actually they can have a tendency. They may or may not have it, but they have the ability to have a tendency that no matter what good is done for them, they can't see good in it. They just can't see it in it. They don't see it. So what? Oh, you think just because you did the groceries, I'm supposed to respect you now? And then you can say Salamu Alaikum, and she'll say Wa Alaikum Assalam. But the way in which, my sister, the way in which you will say Wa Alaikum Assalam is corrupt, is ugly. There's no love in it. There's no respect in it. There's spite in it. There's hatred in it. There's this rejection in it. You're saying good words, but they're not salih. And there's anger. Well, he didn't call me last night, or he didn't do this, or he didn't do that. And there's all these reasons for you to be upset. Now he's trying over and over to be qawwam, and he's not perfect. He's going to mess up. And you're going to always have reasons to be angry. Wallahi al-azim. Any wife that's sitting in the audience here, do you have any reason to be upset with your husband? There are going to be reasons. Even if she says, no, 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 in her mind there's going to be a list. In her mind is going to be a list. And if I say, can you just write them down on a paper? She's going to say, do you have a notepad? I don't think a paper is enough. You know? There are going to be reasons for her to be upset. And yet Allah says the first quality she's supposed to have is to fight that tendency to hold a grudge and to be angry and to let that cloud the way she speaks and the way she carries herself, but actually become a person that wants to reconcile, that wants to fix, that wants to move on and not let things get corrupt, not let things get ugly. By the way, fasada is also used for like fasada al-laban, fasada al-laham, fasada al-ta'am, when food goes bad. When you don't take care of food, it goes bad, and you have to take extra precaution to make sure it stays fresh or stays clean and doesn't get infected. She's constantly going to have to survey herself and her attitude. That's the first quality. Why should she do it? Then she asks, why should I do this? He doesn't deserve it. Do you know what he smells like? Do you know what he looks like? Do you know what he talks like? Brother, you gave this khutbah, but you don't understand my situation. Yes, you're right. I don't understand your situation, but Allah does. I'm not talking to you about what I think. I'm telling you what Allah says. And He gives the reason in the next description of women. Why should you be motivated to be this way? Qanitatun, because you're willing and obedient, willing and ready to serve Allah. Qunut goes back to Allah. Qumu lillahi qanitin is muqaddam for ikhtisas. Only to Allah should you be subservient. So when women are described as subservient, their relationship and their attitude with their husband is actually directly related to their connection with Allah. And when their attitude becomes corrupt, when their demeanor becomes spiteful, then actually that's an indication to yourself, not for your husband to point it out to you, for you yourself, of how far you're traversing from your connection with Allah. And it gets so bad at sometimes. I've heard this with my own ears. A woman well-educated, learned in the religion. She's arguing with her husband. She gets mad at him, and she won't even sleep in the same bed. She won't even say wa alaikum salam. She won't even look at him for weeks. And when she starts arguing, and he says, you learn the religion, you pray every day, you're so good in Islam, why are you so mean to me? And she says, well, right now I don't have to be Muslim, okay? Literally, right now I'm a Hindu. These words come out of knowledgeable religious women. It's shocking. Because the relationship with Allah gets cut when your spite towards your man is so high. Everything gets blocked off. Even your relationship with God. It's shocking. You have to check yourself. Thank God they can't see me right now. But qanitatun, they have to be subservient to Allah. Then he adds, hafizatun lil ghaib, guarding, consistently guarding lil ghaib, for what can't be seen. Now what does that mean, guarding what can't be seen? The first meaning of that is these women have to guard the dignity, the integrity, the respect, and the trust of their husbands when the husband is not around. They shouldn't be talking to their friends about how bad he is, because he can't be there to defend himself. They shouldn't be talking to other men if he doesn't want them talking to other men. They shouldn't be going places he didn't want them to go. Oh, he's never going to find out. He's at work until 6 p.m. He's never going to know. He's completely they're invisible. The daytime, they're invisible guys at work or whatever. Or he's traveling and they can do whatever they want. The first meaning of this ayah is actually they protect themselves from what he doesn't want them to do. And by the way, interestingly enough, Hafiz, guardian, is also caretaker in the Quran. Caretaker. That's the first meaning here. The second meaning of lil ghaib, which is profound, is that there are some things you cannot see. You cannot see your husband when he's at work. You can't see your husband when he's traveling. You can't see your husband when he's checking into a flight at the airport. You can't see who he's sitting next to. And you all know what I'm talking about. You can't see that. You can't